You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay, and this is a program called
The really exciting episode of the wonderful world of Wardini books, where I take it over for the Readers and Writers Festival 2022.
And it's not on at the moment, but it is coming, so yeah, fill your boots, tell us all about it.
Thank you. So on Tuesday night, there was a swanky launch for the Hawke's Bay Arts Festival. And nestled within that beautiful arts festival is Hawke's Bay Readers and Writers Festival. So I'm the chair of that trust, the Hawke's Bay Readers and Writers Trust, and there are 6 of us on that trust, and we're all volunteers, and we just have the best time ever creating programmes of literary events. And this is the biggest one that we do every year. We've got stuff going on all year round. You know, we had Chanel Mariah.
Yes. How long has it been going?
Pardon?
How long has it been going as a festival?
Years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
I think I've been involved probably for about 5 years, maybe. But a long time before I came on the scene. And so I've managed to weasel my way in.
You've taken over. You're the boss now.
Kind of. Not really. It's just the name being shared, because it's the work is shared. Absolutely it is. So the programme just came out. So there was the swanky launch at the new atrium, which is just beautiful. It's behind the Herald Tribune building in Hastings. It was just gorgeous. And then the actual programme has come out.
Look at that.
So it's got these beautiful covers, Hawke's Bay Arts Festival, and then our one on the back with book covers of who's coming. So I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for me to just talk about it, and maybe
absolutely.
you could ask me questions and I can clarify things.
I will.
So we've got 2 workshops. So they are, one is creative writing, it's commercial fiction. So, you know, it's Nikki Pellegrino who's going to take that. So I suppose you'd call it women's fiction.
Yes.
You know, and there's a bit of romance, and there's a bit of... Nikki sets a lot of her books in Italy, and so it's food and romance and wine and sunshine, and they're just lovely. And then the other one is a young adult one called Ready for Action, and that's with Aaron Topp, and it's how to write a fast and furious story. So I think that's good. He's always Aaron's a surfer and a mountain biker, and there's always something like that in his books. So his latest one, Nori Swell, is about a kid who's a massive surfer and all sorts of other things that I think we've reviewed it on this show actually. And it all kicks off on the 22nd of October with Douglas Lloyd Jenkins. He's going to come and do his show at MTG in Napier. And that's his novel that we reviewed on this programme too, called Shelter.
Yes.
And it's set mostly in Auckland, and that's a love story, but also a love story to the city and its architecture. So Douglas is going to talk all about that. And then we've got a brilliant session. We're allowed to talk about menopause now, Ken.
Oh, really?
Did you know this?
Well, it's 2022 at last.
It is 2022 at last. So we've called the session Hot Gossip, because why wouldn't you?
Yes,
it's
exactly,
a gift, isn't it? And that's Nikki Pellegrino again, and Nikki Bazant. They've both released books about menopause. Nikki Pellegrino's is called Don't Sweat It, which, again, wow. And Nikki Bazant's is called This Changes Everything. And they're going to be chaired by Dr. Samantha Newman, who goes under the logo Female GP.
Yes,
you might have had her in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's an expert on this part of women's lives that goes on forever. So that's going to be quite a light-hearted but serious session, if you know what I mean. You know, it's like, woo, let's talk about it. All the exciting things that you go through at this time of life, and also like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I wonder, do men have some sort of menopause, or is it? I heard someone say, men do go sort of
I think
through
so.
menopause. So is that what we call a midlife crisis for men?
Maybe it is, and that's kind of almost reductionist, isn't it, to call it a midlife crisis, when there actually might be things that if we acknowledge them, they'd be easier to deal with.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so probably true. Men do go through that. We've got an absolutely amazing gig called Imagining Decolonisation, which was a little book that Bridget Williams Books brought out, and Dr. Moana Jackson was involved in the writing of that, and as you'll know, he's passed away this year.
Yes.
And so this is almost a tribute to him, and it's people that have worked with him or have been inspired by his work. So in that session, we've got Mariana Pittman, who's local and done a lot of work in this field, and Dr. Hinamura Elder and Dr. Monty Suter. We've got all the doctors, honestly. We are so academic this year. And that's going to be chaired by Ali Tamainu from the library, because she's the the cultural liaison for the library. And so this is going to be really looking at, don't be scared about decolonisation.
No.
This is what it is, this is what it means, this is how we can move forward as a nation. So that's going to be fabulous, and that's a free event because we want everyone to come to that.
Yes, absolutely.
And Dr. Hinamore Elder is also, she's got a new book coming out in October called Wawata, which is moon dreaming. And you know there's been a lot of discussion about Maramataka and planting by the moon and how everything is, how your moods and just everything can be attributed to phases of the moon. And that's the whole Matariki thing as well. It works in really nicely with that.
She's a clever woman, isn't she?
Just
incredible.
I'm so thrilled that she's coming and that she's going to be in 2 sessions for us because she's just got so much to tell us and to teach us. So this one is about how to reclaim intimacy with others, with ourselves and with our planet using the energies of Hina, the Maori moon.
There you go.
That's going to be so cool, eh?
Love it.
And then we've got Va, which is stories from women of the Moana, and that's going to be with Nafanua Kersel, who is, I love her. She's just such the most wonderful poet and storyteller, and she's local to Hastings. And Cecilia Eteuati, who's, they've both been involved, or Cecilia is one of the editors of a book called Va, and Nafanua is a contributor to it, and that is Indigenous stories from women all around the Pacific Islands and Aotearoa, and that's going to be just a beautiful session. And we've got a financial one. You were going to ask a question. I'm rabbiting.
I was going to say, who's going to come along to this sort of thing? Is it going to be people like, people who are already writers and people who belong to book clubs, or would you find that new talent will come along and say, this might be a great avenue for me to actually get on the block sort of thing and get started? Yeah,
that's a brilliant question, because the whole kaupapa of the Readers Writers Trust is we need to create programs that will appeal to everybody. You know, whether you're a reader or not, we want you to be a reader because it's an essential skill, and it does.
That's right.
It does wonders for your life as a whole. So we want to create things that will have interest for everybody, absolutely everybody, right from little kids to older people, all walks of life. And hence we've got a couple of free events, you know, because we want people to not have any barriers to getting out to these events.
Do these events sometimes showcase an absolute fabulous talent that you didn't know existed?
Sometimes they do, that's it. Or they've existed in a little vacuum for a very long time and just been excellent for so long, and then people will say, how have I never heard of that person? Because, you know, we're all little ostriches, aren't we?
Yes, that's right.
And we're all in our own little world. So that's what it does as well. There can be this just stunning writer that no one's ever heard of, and then that becomes their new favourite writer. So that's incredible.
And the people bowl up with big piles of books and make it an opportunity to sell their wares, or...
The booksellers sell them.
Yes.
So Wardini Books, funnily enough, is one of the booksellers, and we share that with Beatty and Forbes over in Ahuriri.
Yep.
So, because it's quite a lot of work, and also it's nice for booksellers to share things sometimes,
yes,
you know.
indeed.
So there will be a bookstall. All these books will be on sale. We've also got Max Rashbrook, who's coming to talk about money and how someone in the wealthiest 1%, 40,000 people, has a net worth 68 times that of the average New Zealander, which is just like...
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
So he's going to talk about that, and Chris Purley, who you'll know.
Very clever man.
Probably one of the cleverest people I know.
Yes.
He's going to chair that, so there's going to be a really, really interesting discussion there. So anyone interested in inflation and what's going on at the moment, cost of living, that's going to be really important. And then we've got Charlotte Grimshaw, who wrote a book recently called The Mirror Book, and that was about growing up with C.K. Stead as her father.
Yeah, imagine that.
And the whole country just went... So she's going to talk about that, which is going to be fascinating. We've got Aaron Top, Karen Powell, Christina Sanders. They're going to talk about the sea and how that weaves through their writing. We've got the two Raw sisters, Rosa and Margot Flanagan. Have you seen their cookbooks?
No.
So the one that they released last Christmas-ish time, called Salad, was just like phenomenal bestseller. The recipes are just... but that's the whole point, Ken. It's for people who go, ugh, salad. I'm one of those people as well. I'm a salad dodger.
Yes.
But these are just like, okay, well, if you roast this cauliflower and then you put these seeds in with it and you do this and you put this dressing with it, you've just made something incredibly delicious that's good for your insides.
And put some chips and a hamburger patty in there, you'll be laughing. right.
Balancing everything.
Yes.
So they've got a new book coming called Simple Fancy, which is we want to make food that looks amazing and tastes amazing, but it's not going to take you all day to cook it.
That's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be brilliant. And then we've got a damn good yarns session with Nikki Pellegrino again and Charity Norman, who's just the most wonderful storyteller. And then, last but not least, we have the launch of Tarquin the Honest by Gareth Ward.
Wow, we know him.
We do know him,
He's
don't
famous,
we? We've
isn't
met
he?
him once or twice.
Yes.
And that's his new novel based on a Dungeons and Dragons character that he's played. So it's for grown-ups, and it's sort of a fantasy adventure of this merry band of warriors that go on a quest, you know. And then after that, there's going to be this Dungeons and Dragons multiverse extravaganza.
Awesome.
Where you've got all these teams playing the same game of Dungeons and Dragons, each with a dungeon master, presided over by Tarquin the Honest.
Yes.
So that's just going to be so much fun. So if people are interested in D&D and they've never had a chance to play it before, just come along, because the dungeon masters will be provided for each table, and they'll see you through the game.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun. Now, I know that you've been involved in this from the beginning and for years, but I wonder, when you reflect on what's coming up, and you know what's coming up, what's the one thing that you just can't wait for? You think, if I don't go to anything else, I'm going to that. What is that one?
That's a really difficult question. I think, probably the most fun and crazy one is the D&D extravaganza.
Yeah,
that's right. But when you look at the importance of some of these, I mean, that decolonisation session, I think every New Zealander needs to listen, really.
You need to know what's going on. You need to be aware.
I know some people are very resistant and they're very scared and they're very... they don't understand.
No.
Why do you want to do that? New Zealanders, right. Well, yeah, we are all New Zealanders. So let's just talk about this, because great hurts have happened and we need to discuss it.
Exactly. It's like Three Waters. You know, you've got to know the whole story rather than just the bits that are...
Yeah, I think so. I don't want Campylobacter in my water.
Exactly right. All right, so is it a sellout, this gig? Is it normally packed out?
I think we're going to pack them out, The past couple of years have been really popular. And it's cheap as chips. If you get in early, the general price for most of them, apart from Imagining Decolonisation, which is free, and the book launch, which is free, they're $15 each. But if you do an early bird, like get onto it soon, $10.
That is cheap as chips.
$10 to come to see these amazing authors.
Yeah.
So get on the website. It's on hbaf.co.nz, and then you click through to the literary sessions.
If we want to find out a bit more about it, how do we, get hold of one of those brochures? Or can we talk to you about it? Or
Yeah. Just get in touch at the bookshop, absolutely, at Wardini Books. So you can email books@wardini.co.nz. These brochures will be available through the libraries, through most of the shops. They'll be in the bookshops soon. So you'll be able to pick these up. You should be seeing them everywhere. And it's all online. The website's excellent, so that hbaf.co.nz.
Lou, as was my pleasure. You look after yourself. We'll talk to you same time, same place next week.
Lovely. Thanks, Ken.